Welcome to Zoom Lesson Tech Helps for seminary teachers. Today I'm going to introduce to you a little bit about how to annotate using Zoom so that you can get more engagement in your classes. Now, the first thing we need to understand is that we must share our screen if we want to have annotating happening. There's a few different ways you could do that. You could share a whiteboard, the whiteboard function within Zoom, or you could share a document or a slideshow, slide, whatever you want to get in front of your students and be able to mark up. So let's just show you first how to open the whiteboard. If you wanted to have a blank slate and do things like you would in a classroom on a whiteboard, you just click share screen and whiteboard, and you get this nice whiteboard that comes up, and that's what will be shared now with your students as well. Now, just quickly, I want to run through these options and some things on a whiteboard that might be helpful. Right here, the text could be really helpful. You, or if your students are using a computer, should have access to this text function. If they're on a phone, chances are they won't have access to the text, and you'll have to have them annotate in some other ways. But if you do have access to the text, you just click right there and you type in whatever you want to, or your students type in whatever you asked them, hello, and it just comes right up, and you click off, and then it becomes visible to everybody in the class on that board. If you ever want to erase, you just can go to the eraser, click on that, and erase is a simple way as well. Now, the next tool that we have is a draw tool. There's a vanishing pen, a pen, and a highlighter, and different sizes that you can use, and I'm going to show you in just a moment how to use those. You also have stamp tools, to where you can ask students just to mark something or put a check by something or an arrow by something that stands out to them or is important to them that's on the screen, and all they would do is click on that, or you click on that and you click it, and a stamp of that shape is just put wherever they click on the board. It could be a star, multiple different things. Then you have this option right here, which if you click on this arrow, whoever the user is that uses this, if you click it, it will put an arrow with the name of the user right there. And the nice thing here is you can click something, then click it again, and it changes, and the other one disappears on you. If you want to delete all the drawings that are on there so far, you can clear all drawings with the trash bin there. Now, this is what you can do in a whiteboard. Now, in a whiteboard, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can invite them to write principles. You can put a chart really quick. I could draw a chart. I'll show you how to do that. If I just had a few lines and I wanted to draw a chart and have them share a few things in this chart, or split it up. Say I have 6 kids in my class and I want them all to answer in a different place. I can draw a quick chart and then just say, Johnny, you're in the upper left. Would you write your answer Jello right there? And then Fred is over here writing their answer of pizza, and students can do all sorts of different things. Now, they also could change their color again. This is on blue. They could go pink and say hello. So, very helpful. Just like if you're walking up to a whiteboard and you want to write things and do things, your students can do that with you, and you can do that with them. As long as they're on a computer, you have all of this functionality. Now, I want to show really quick what it might look like if you're sharing a screen. Like if you want to put up a quote on the board and have them highlight that, what might you do with that? So if I open my PowerPoint here and share that, and I go to slideshow presentation so everybody sees that, you can use all of these same annotation functions. Now, you might have to, when you share the screen, you need to go down here into your tools and click annotate. Your students would need to do that as well if they're on a computer. But you can see you get all the same tools here. So you could ask your students, or you could yourself say, hey, would you read this quote, and would you highlight whatever stands out to you in any way? Draw a line under it, so you could draw. If I just have a line, I could draw a line. Can crumble. I could highlight, like that. Again, you can change the color to a different color, or your students can change it to a different color. And you as a teacher, again, has the vanishing pen, so you could put that out there and talk about it, and then it'll disappear. Students can't do that. Still, you can do a text in the side if you had space and have you want to write something, principles down that your students are sharing, or you want to have your students write down principles, you can have them do that on the screen still as well. If you wanted to do, hey, go stamp in that quote the word that stands out to you the most, you could just go around and your students could put stamps, and you could see how many stamps show up next to different words. And you could also say, I want you to actually go put an arrow with your name next to whatever you think is most important. And so they could go put their name in there as well, and you can see what stands out to them. You can ask questions. Hey, why did that stand out to you? And you can see all the different possibilities for this. And again, if you just want to clear it all, you go to clear all my drawings. Everything will go off and you can continue on in your slideshow. If you ever did something and you wanted to save your whatever happened in the annotations, you just go right down here and you can save. You can save it as a PNG file or a PDF. That's more of a picture. PDF is more of a document. All right. Now let's switch gears just for a second. I want to show you what it's going to look like for a student that's on their phone to be able to annotate and the type of annotating that they can do. So they're going to see a screen kind of like this where they're going to see what you're sharing. We see that quote again. Obviously it's going to be smaller for them, but they're going to need to tap their finger on the screen and see in the bottom left how that little pen just showed up and then disappeared. Now it showed up again. If they click on that, these are the options that they have to annotate with. They have a pen option. Within that pen option, they can also highlight, as you see right here. If they take the pen, they can just draw, they can mark, they can circle, they can do any markings with that pen, as you see right here. Or they can choose the highlighter and they can highlight anything on that page. Now, if they want to change the color or the size, they can do it by clicking on the color, and you have a width choice and a color choice, so they can make changes there through the color. Now, if you go back to the arrow, they can make arrows as well, but this isn't like the other one where you just click it and it creates an arrow. They have to touch the screen and drag it to create their arrow, and they can drag it and create the arrow to point to any different direction to make the arrow as big as they want it, just like you see here. So that can be helpful too if you're asking students to pinpoint things or point at things on the screen. Could be super, super helpful, allowing them to participate in the class. Again, they have those options. They can click the eraser and they have the opportunity to erase and touch some of the annotations that they've made and erase those things, as you see here, which can be helpful as well. And you as a teacher can always erase anything that a student does on the class screen. And then the last option they have is they could save what they're seeing on their phone to a document or a file so that they could go back and see it later on. That's pretty much what a student will see. I hope this has been helpful. All right, great times to use the annotating feature in a lesson is when you want to put some scriptures on the board and have them annotate and mark things and share what stands out to them. A quote. You can, if they're using computers, you can have them type out principles or different things that they're seeing. You can have them put stars and different things by things that are standing out on whatever you share on the screen. Just a great tool to improve engagement and bring your Zoom class alive.